ICD-10 coding for non-medical encounters, including refraction codes. My name is Jeffrey Restuccio. I am a certified coder, and I am a coding and billing consultant specializing in eye care. I'm based out of Memphis, Tennessee, and my contact information is on the screen. You can reach me at jeff@ICodingForum.com or the website EyeCodingForum.com. ICD-10 is an updated system for the reporting of diseases, conditions, and other factors affecting healthcare. The new ICD-10 codes must be used on and after October 1st, 2014. The ICD-10 system has over 68,000 codes compared to only 13,000 ICD-9 codes. The new system consists of 3 to 7 characters, the first being a letter of the alphabet, an alpha character. The second will be a number, and the rest either alpha or numeric. The format is below. So the category will be identified by a letter, and then the etiology or cause. There's an anatomical site. They'll have a code for severity, and then what we call a 7th-digit extender. So we'll have a letter, 2 digits, and then up to 4 digits to the right of the decimal. Now, sometimes the 6th digit will be an X, what we call a placeholder code, and this is an important concept. An example would be H40.11X2, which is primary open-angle glaucoma, moderate stage. Note the use of the placeholder code. Again, we will cover the diseases in my complete 6-hour training course. This presentation is focusing on non-medical diagnoses. And the first code, which we use every day, is what's known as the routine exam of the eyes code. In ICD-9, this is V72.0. And this is what I recommend to use on an encounter for a patient that has no medical diagnosis, and you're going to perform an office visit, either a 9-2 visit, the intermediate or comprehensive exam, or 9-9 E&M. This does not relate to refraction codes. We'll discuss that in a little bit. Essentially, the new codes will be Z01.00, encounter for examination of the eyes and vision without abnormal findings. And then the next code is Z01.01, and this is for an encounter with abnormal findings. Note that the word routine is no longer in the description, so if you're going to use a lookup program, you can't search routine. It's an encounter for exam of eyes. Now, what I would consider abnormal would mean a medical diagnosis. In other words, you find perhaps dry eye syndrome after your routine visit. Now, it's unknown exactly how different carriers, and in particular the vision plans, will define the term abnormal. So that's unknown right now. And do understand that a vision plan can define it, and they often do. They'll define something differently than medical insurance carriers. So as I teach in my seminars, they are their own little animal. They make up their own little rules, and you simply have to follow them. So the way that this is defined, abnormal findings, could very well be a carrier-specific rule, and we'll just have to see if, for example, they would define that to be a refraction diagnosis. And that's one of the first things that we need to ask the different vision plans, and I'll be gathering that information as 2014 continues. Now, the first concept in ICD-10 is the issue of laterality. You need to document and report eye conditions by eye when applicable. So the conventions are right eye is a 1, the left eye is a 2, bilateral or both eyes is a 3, and then unspecified eye is a 9. Now, when I say that's all you need to know, there is a consistency for most codes. However, there are exceptions. Another new convention in ICD-10 are eyelid codes. Now, this is an important concept because I've seen a lot of questions concerning a confusion between CPT concepts and ICD-10 concepts. These are not modifiers. In CPT, we've been using the RT and LT modifier for some time. Also, there are 4 modifiers for eyelids, E1 through E4. These are CPT modifiers. So these are not modifiers. They're actually going to be either 6th or 7th digit codes that will be added to indicate a condition for the right upper lid, right lower lid, left upper lid, or left lower lid. So these, again, are going to be part of the ICD-10, and not only should they be reported, but they also should be part of the documentation. So you should never say dermatochalasis without indicating which eyelid it is in your documentation. I don't recommend using the 3, 6, or 9. These are unspecified eyelid codes. I don't recommend using these. There are also lacrimal gland codes, and again, these follow the same format with right, left, and bilateral, reported with a 1, 2, or 3, respectively. The X placeholder code we mentioned, this is something that's used in a code so that the last digit appears in the 7th position. So in our case study here, we have T45.0 X1A. This is an accidental poisoning by an anti-allergic drug, right eye, initial encounter. So the X is in the 5th digit. Without the placeholder, the resulting code would be invalid. Now, these will appear in injury codes. Also, in some glaucoma codes, we'll also use placeholder X code. So this is an important new ICD-10 concept. Now, also a new concept are occurrence codes, and then there's a name change from the term late effect. Now, the late effect in ICD-9 meant a condition that occurs after the initial phase of an injury. So if you're burned on the eye, or if you're shot in the eye with a BB gun, and then you have a problem with your eye either a week, a month, or 20 years later, that is known as a late effect. And late effect codes should be coded today in ICD-9. A lot of eye care professionals do not code late effects, but they should. So you'll see this concept now in ICD-10, and it's now called sequelas. So these occurrence codes, there are 3 of them, and the first initial occurrence is reported with an A, foreign body of a cornea, right eye. Initial encounter ends with an A, and then a subsequent encounter will be reported with a D, and then a sequela, which would be something that happens weeks after the foreign body. Perhaps it's a rust ring. That would be considered a sequela, and that's reported with an S. And then note the use of the X placeholder code. We're going to actually stop here and then continue on with part 2.